Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of eXhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. The place on the internet, the only place that you can hear the straight dope, the unfiltered trueness of us watching the X-Files episodes, I guess. We are we are struggling through the early episodes of season 4. We're not really sure what the hell is going on, other than, as Jeremy mentioned last week, they blew their load in season 3. But we're back with episode 4 here, Unruhe, directed by Rob Bowman, written by Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad. Any memories of this as a kid?
Nope, not one.
This is kind of weird because I'm wondering if, because I know we watched these. Surely
Yeah.
we had to have watched these. That these episodes were just so unmemorable. Home was memorable. Okay, so I'll give it that. But so far, most of these early episodes are so sort of memorable that I'm just like, it's like I'm watching them all for the first time, and I'm not being as forgiving on them as an adult as I would have been when I was a teenager. And it's put me on tilt here. I don't know. I don't know. But Vince Gilligan, right?
You're
He's gonna
right.
he's gonna bring some quality, hopefully.
Surely.
All right. Well, let's talk about it. What happens at the cold open of Unruhe?
3-cent photocopies while you wait. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that being 10 cents at the local grocery store back in the 90s when we were going in. So that is just, first of all, a steal to use a photocopy.
Yeah.
This nervous, ugly ginger tells his slightly good looking girlfriend to go inside, and he's complaining at her that she's like doing her makeup for a passport photo.
Yeah.
And he tilts the mirror towards himself, and he just sees his typical ginger self. She tells him to relax, Billy. And then she goes in to get her picture, and immediately after she walks in, Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan, back to the future reference there, walks in immediately afterward, and then follows her out as she goes to get her money. And then, or because she like didn't have the money to pay for it, she's like, "Oh, I must have left it in the
Yeah.
car." So she walks out. Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan follows her out, punches her in the shoulder as he like brushes by her, and then
Yeah. I was confused as to what exactly happened there. Like, did he stab her or something? When I initially
she
saw, I was like, "What was going on?" Because she starts really being like, "Oh, like she got like stabbed in the side or something." But we don't really see it.
she doesn't react a whole lot to it for a
Yeah.
little bit, and she as she starts walking towards the VW bug that her fucking hideous ass ginger boyfriend is sitting inside of. He's left the goddamn windows down again in the pouring rain.
Yes.
She's like, Billy! She starts bitching at him, and then she walks up and she just sees a bunch of blood just streaming out of his ear. He's got a cigarette that's burnt all the way down to the nub, and he's dead.
Yeah.
And then she starts dying next to the car. She's reacting to the shoulder stab or whatever it was, as Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan pulls up with white wall tires. It cuts from that to the pharmacist looking at, or opening up the Polaroid from the picture he just took for the passport, and he sees this girl's face, and she's like reaching towards the screen or the camera lens, and she's got this horrid scared
Yeah.
face, and she's surrounded by ghosts, and then we get the title screen.
Yeah. Used to be a huge fan of R.L. Stein's Goosebumps books, and one of my favorites was Say Cheese and Die. And that's what that reminded me of. It was like, oh, they're doing Say Cheese and Die. So I thought this opening was cool.
It was very
I
cool,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, finally 4 episodes in, I've got something to like hold on to here and be excited for. I love that they used the rain. I like that it was actually like daylight rainstorm. It wasn't like night or anything like that. It reminded me of that scene in David Fincher's Seven, with the killer like in the rain. He's got like Kevin Spacey. You don't see as Kevin Spacey at that point, but he's got kind of like the rain slicker on. He's holding out like the gun in the rain, that sort of classic shot. That's kind of like clearance rack version of that. I appreciated that. I like the old dude who was just like this very nice old man who was so happy to be making these passport photos for this lady, and his terrified face when he saw her like screaming. And she had a really good scream, like terrified look. I like this opening.
I did too, but I do have a question for you.
Okay.
They made it a point to focus in on the pharmacist dude's little metal anklet piece that was propping him up apparently as he walked.
Yeah.
Why? It never pays off.
No, it doesn't pay off, but I think maybe they wanted to plant a seed for like later on we have kind of weird leg stuff happening. And so maybe they were trying to plant a seed, a voodoo seed from
Voodoo.
a boa. I don't know. Like
Word. All
I
right.
don't
All
know.
right.
But yeah, you're right. They did make a point of it, and we see him once again later on when they come to question him. And so maybe that he was like a red herring or something. They're trying to throw people off the scent, but
Well,
failed
we know how
miserably.
they don't like to confuse their audience by bringing blondes back in to remind you that they exist. So when they do show up in a couple episodes, you're not like, oh, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But okay. So the FBI is called within 3 days of this gal missing. They find out that the boyfriend got a needle through the brain or through the ear and in
Yeah.
directly into his brain. Like, yikes.
Yeah.
But if you saw how he looked in the mirror, he kind of had it coming. Uh,
Jeez. Life improvement. Oh man.
Scully asks why they're involved at all with this case, and it's because of the photo with the spooky face. That's it.
Yep.
Uh, I have the note in here where they make this big showing on this squeaky metal leg thing that the guy's got. Notices that all of the film he uses is well out of date. Plus, it was hot inside of there, or inside of where he was getting it developed, I guess.
Yeah.
So it might have caused like a smear, the face to have smeared on it, and that was all like plausible. Because oftentimes in the past, when Scully immediately wanted to like just say it could have been this or this or this, there was a whole kind of hole in what she was saying. You kind of had to go out on a limb to believe some of the stuff to make it to explain it away. But everything she had just said about why that face looked like that was completely plausible.
Yeah.
But
My note is she's trying so hard to explain the screaming photo to Mulder, and there's a moment where he just smiles. Like he doesn't give a shit about what she's saying to him at all. And she's like, "Well, what's your theory?" He's like, "I ain't got no theory. We're just wasting taxpayer funds because I am on a wild goose chase. I have a hunch about a screaming say cheese and die photo."
this is another episode where he's surrounded by his cloud of bullshit, where he just kind of floats around in the episode and stumbles onto the answer without nothing. Oh my god! So then a cop just walks into the pharmacy and he shows up. This cop, I don't know if he was somebody's cousin or something like that, but the only thing he does is come in and say or tells them to go somewhere else. Like he was just happened to be 5 feet away from the FBI just to pop into the room because he pops in and says he's sorry for wasting their time because he needs to take them to the girl's apartment and they meet with a postal inspector that's just going through their house. And I thought they were going to find like a murder scene at
Yeah.
this girl's apartment. Like, why is the postal guy there?
Yeah.
But they were into mail fraud. The girlfriend was taking stuff that the boyfriend was forging. That was why they were all shady at the beginning of the thing. And they're just like, they just write it off that the girlfriend killed the boyfriend and just took off with, the money because they had been found out. Completely plausible.
Yep.
And Mulder is just, he's like, but I got this Polaroid and it's weird, so that ain't it.
Have you ever heard about this guy who did photography? Psychic photography, one might say. I'm like, what? Dude, where is this even coming from?
Then the cops find the girlfriend, male fraudster, and she's all drugged out, walking along the edge of the road.
Yeah.
They ask for a PET scan. I guess we call it an MRI now. I don't know what,
Yeah, that was a PET scan. I wasn't sure what that was.
but they have her head in an MRI. So
Yeah.
maybe there was just a time they called it there. But they find out that she was given an ice pick lobotomy, and somehow, despite Mulder being a world class murder profiler, just knows murder better than he knows the fucking X Files, doesn't know what an ice pick lobotomy is, and has to have it explained to him. Like, Mulder, you're not this fucking stupid. So they get her in the MRI, and then she starts moaning something in German. And you find out it's the, I believe she just kept on saying the title of the episode, Unruhe, over
Yeah.
and over and over again. So they find out what does the word mean, Matt? I did not. I forgot what the
I'd have to
translation was.
look it up. Keep going, I'll find out.
So this cop that
Unease, disquiet.
uneased disc. Okay.
Yep.
So as they're sitting there listening to the moaning, the same cop who had just apologized earlier apparently was just standing outside the room and just busts in and says, "There's been another abduction." Like, and that's the last time we see him. It's just his job to interrupt what they're doing so that they will go somewhere else.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
we see the abductee or the present abductee that the guy has. Um, she's being spoken to in very good German, but she looks more confused than she looks scared of what's going on.
Hmm.
And then the
Okay.
guy, whoever's talking to her in German, sets out an ice pick, and she's crying. She's crying and saying she starts crying, but she has like the tape slipped off her mouth a little, believe a little bit.
Yeah.
And the guy walks up and puts duct tape over her mouth, but he does the worst job ever. He just barely kind of taps it on there a little bit.
It's like he didn't want to hurt the actress or something or make
Well,
her uncomfortable.
it comes back. I for some reason I noticed that it almost seemed purposeful how awful a job he did with that duct tape, and it comes back later in the episode to pay off. Unlike the metal leg thing, and I'll talk about it later.
That's
Um,
called a tease, kids.
they go or Mulder and Scully goes to where the cops have the abduction at. They have this goofy tape outline of a CPA that goes up the wall instead of just on the ground, which I'd never seen done before. Died of an ear wound again to or whatever to the brain, just like Ginger boyfriend got. Um, Scully shows like they've got nothing to grasp onto right now. So Scully's like, maybe he's in the crime scene photos of the Volkswagen Bug, the Ginger boyfriend from the previous title screen. Maybe he's one of those killers that show up to the crime scene afterwards, as is so often spoken about in serial killer shows. And Mulder, one of the best serial killer profiles in the world, apparently says, nah, it wouldn't be there because in his cloud of bullshit he's floating around in, unless there's a psychic altering to the a photo somewhere, unless there's a psychic altering to the photo she was showing him, that he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And that's the only evidence that he cares for as he's like fumbling around in the CPA's office looking for a photo that's been psychically altered.
It's so weird. Like I can't I can't stress enough. I really dislike Mulder this season. Like they have just made him so awful to watch. I mean, it's like you can't even root for this guy. Like they're undercutting all the intelligence that they set up with him in previous seasons, and you just sit here watching. Like I feel like you can see in Gillian Anderson's face how frustrated she is in episode after episode after episode, and now I feel it. Now I'm seeing psychically through her eyes of watching this guy, and if I was in this position, I'd be like, I'm out, dude. I'm tapping out. I'm going back home. Let me know when you find your psychic photo.
gonna go get a dog. I'm gonna name it Queequeg 2, and I'm never gonna do this UFO shit ever again.
Queequeg! Justice for Queequeg!
Which wasn't that Mulder's fault to you know what? Yes. Let's just say it was.
Yes!
So because there's no psychic altered film anywhere in the CPA's office, Scully just decides to help his delusion and just grasp onto a straw. She sees a construction company site that she saw in some other photo.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, let's investigate something. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, you go ahead and do that. I'm gonna take this photo to go have it enhanced over at the FBI labs and fuck with it a bit, just in case I
Yeah.
get to
Well, they
see
see
what's
that
going on.
sign. They see the sign in the photo, whatever. It's like, oh, maybe the killer could spot the women because they're within viewing distance of this sign or something. And then it's like, I'm gonna go take it to our FBI guys to enhance the photo to crystal clarity.
And they do. And
Yep,
the photo actually looks really, really cool,
does
especially
look
the
cool. Yeah,
enhanced one with the spooky faces. They enhance some dude's face in the background. And it's like skinny Dave Bautista. Um, Scully tracks down the construction company, and the first person she tracks down in order to question is an actual actor. So it's probably
yeah.
this killer on stilts. That's what I wrote. And then immediately after I wrote that, she gets a phone call from Mulder telling him somehow through this photograph and looking at a picture of a shadow that the killer has disproportionately long legs. And she turns around and looks at this dude that's just like working this job site on the stilts that he's on, and he just takes off. Just like
Yeah.
shoves past her, goes jumping across the balcony. He's pretty decent, and I bet those things are kind of hard to run in.
Oh
But
yeah.
as he's about to get away, he's like 2 floors down. She leans over the railing and just takes one warning shot. And it's pretty good. Like it's right next to him, and the guy just gives up.
Yeah.
He was like 4 steps from the fucking door in the street, and she wouldn't have got it, but he gives up.
Well, I have a note here, real quick, before we get to the next section here. I found this thing super funny. So when Mulder's like with the guy at the FBI and they're digitally enhancing this admittedly cool looking photo, there's this like super skinny, like curved shadow that's on there. It looks ridiculous on the photo. Like it clearly does not look like it belongs there at all. But he says this crazy thing. I guess this is his inner profiler coming out. He sees a shadow and he's like,
Turn the
it's
picture
it,
upside down.
yeah, he's like, it's the killer lording over her like a god. And I'm like, what? You
Right.
got that from a shadow?
A shadow that was underneath her until he told the guy to hold the
Yes.
picture upside down, which, yeah,
Oh
dude is just,
god.
it's the cloud of bullshit that he surrounds himself with. He can just make up whatever he fucking wants to.
The dude on
So,
stilts, though, he is, like you said, he is a pretty well-known character actor. He's the dude. God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Did you ever watch a movie called Identity?
yeah, where he played. I
Yeah,
was trying to remember the name of that movie because he is so good
yeah,
in
he's
that film.
awesome in that. That's what I always remember him from.
That was John Cusack too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that one. That
that's
was
a
an
cool movie.
excellent movie. So he gets arrested, pats him down, finds this dirty ice pick in his pocket.
She gets
But
poked. She reaches into his pocket, and they literally show a close up of her finger, like because that thing poked her. And I was like, is she going to get some sort of weird disease now from this? Is that why? Is that why they showed her finger poke this thing?
nope,
Nope.
nope, never pays off.
Never.
Um, so they start grilling him. They find out that he was a paranoid schizophrenic that got locked up for hurting his dad back in the 80s, turned his dad essentially into a vegetable. But they let him go after he was supposedly cured of being a paranoid schizophrenic to take care of his dad.
Yeah.
Also, his sister committed suicide the same year that he did that to his dad.
Yeah. He's had a rough
Um,
life.
Mulder and Scully are playing bad cop asshole cop instead of good cop bad cop. Shows him the photo that they found, the psychic photo, and Jerry just gets weird. And he kind of retreats into himself. He's like, I needed to save her from the Howlers. So
Yeah.
apparently, these ghost faces are called the Howlers. They drive into the
Spooky.
woods. Wherever his victim was, they find her. She's dead. And Scully takes it super duper hard.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know why.
I wrote Scully is shook in my
She doesn't
notes.
want to know anymore, but she wants to just close this case and go on with her life. But Mulder doesn't think it's over. They book Jerry in, and as he's looking at he's looking at, or the officer like takes his picture, and then the officer looks at the picture and sees his own picture gotten shot through the
Yeah.
head. And then immediately afterwards, Jerry takes the gun from him and shoots the officer. But he doesn't shoot him in the head for some reason, which is
Yeah.
weird. And then as they're staying there, they find out, or he escaped and went back to the original pharmacy in order to commit a robbery. I don't
Yeah.
know why he went back to the pharmacy.
He
Outside,
does he takes like the stuff like chemicals and the medicine stuff. He makes this thing called twilight sleep. They mention that multiple times, like this twilight sleep that he uses to sort of like incapacitate people.
oh, okay.
Because
And
that's
he
what
steals a
happens
camera and
when
a
he goes
bunch of
after
old film.
Scully. Yeah.
Um, see,
My next note here is him under the car when
yeah,
Scully's going
Scully
to
gets
leave.
kidnapped under, yeah, because he's like laying, or they leave the pharmacy and Scully is like walks up to her SUV, and this dude is underneath the car stabbing women in the feet.
I feel like hasn't there been multiple episodes in the past with people underneath Scully's car, like
Yes.
attacking her? I would think that that would be the first thing Scully ever does when she's walking to her car is just kind of squat down and see if there's anybody under there, because they always get her. He
Or
stabs
just
her in the
right.
foot, and you get that really cool overhead crane shot, where basically it's like top down, looking as Scully's basically getting paralyzed, and he's trying to drag her away and whatnot. And I thought that looked cool. Like the whole thing looked really cool.
I think she should just put on steel-toed boots, like from now on. You can find
Yeah,
fashionable ones here and
that's
there.
true.
She should have learned her lesson by now,
Fair.
but she doesn't. So she gets kidnapped, and as her SUV is speeding away, Mulder tries to chase it on foot, and it's not like it's going slow. It
Yeah,
is hauling ass away from him.
and he's screaming, "Scully!" Like, well, what is she gonna do? Like,
So
what response is he wanting to hear when he's yelling her name repeatedly as he tries to chase down this speeding car?
um, he needed to double the amount of effort between that light jog he took after that SUV and the yelling, so he could feel like he did something.
Yeah. Well, the reason why he realizes something happened to her is because the photo is developed in there, and he sees her face like screaming on the photo, and that's when he realizes,
She's in
oh shit,
trouble.
yeah.
And so like the cops, any FBI agents, they're just going over everything in Jerry's life, everything he turned in as far as evidence goes, trying to figure out where he's gone. Where could he have taken her? Where would he be doing what he normally does to these women to her? Nobody's turning up anything except for Mulder. Like they toss Mulder his wallet, and in pure Mulder fashion, just picks up a loose thread about a fucking dentist out of the wallet.
His dad was a dentist. That's where he's going.
Yep. The cloud of bullshit strikes again. So they go, and he's not there. He was there. He just stole one of the dental chairs that they made it a point to like show that the screws in the floor were missing. Don't know if you've ever picked up one of those chairs. I have, Matt. They are extremely heavy. That's a
Hmm.
two-man job easily. So I don't I don't know if Scully was helping. But
Well, we have seen Scully just pick up Mulder and move him around like it's no
oh
problem.
right, yeah,
So
dragging him out of ventilation, pulling him out of basements with fucking cats,
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
kill him.
she's
Yeah.
super strong, man. I mean, he's probably like, look, he probably made her pick it up herself, carry it back.
getting choke slammed through coffee tables and stabbed in the feet. But yeah, she could just squat 350 pounds off the floor, no problem. Jesus. So the howlers are in your head and they make you do and say things you don't mean. The howlers live only inside your head. And Jerry, oh yeah, he's speaking German to her, and
Yeah.
she took that semester of German in college or whatever, and she's like, I'm not in German. She's like, I'm not fucking. I don't need help. I don't need healing or whatever you're talking about. And he starts speaking to him in English because her German was terrible and his was excellent. And he goes to take because now he's aware of the psychic photograph. So he goes to take a picture of Scully as proof that she has this howler problem. And like because Scully is trying to defend herself with words, he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna take a picture of myself instead," and just start snapping pictures of himself. Meanwhile, we're going back to Mulder, and he's just getting all nuts about this stupid six-finger thing in one of the
Yeah.
photographs of Scully.
I was a little
And
confused about that because he's just didn't even look like fingers to me when I was looking at the photo. I was kind of confused about that whole thing.
but he's obsessed with it. And in the cloud of bullshit, anything Mulder latches onto is what we need to do next. And realizes that somehow these clawed six fingers that are scratching Scully's face, it looks like in the photographs, are 5 headstones in a graveyard somewhere. In a picture he was looking at, I think of his dad being buried or something like that. I mean, it's the thinnest of threads, but he just
Very.
grabs it and just pulls the whole FBI, the SWAT with him.
The sway
Thankfully,
that this guy has over an entire agency is incredible.
they get out to the graveyard. They still see the 5 headstones, and then Mulder like sees some equipment that's just naturally at a graveyard to dig holes, and he starts running over to it. And then on the other side of that, apparently, is a camper whose windows are all like covered over, and he starts looking through the windows, and surely there's a key in the key or the ignition that has a tooth hanging from it. So this is where he was supposed to be. And
Yeah.
thankfully, because Jerry's demonstratively awful application of duct tape to the mouth allows Scully to start yelling, Mulder! Mulder, help me! And Mulder finds this inner chimp like strength to tear off a locked door of a camper and bust in and just shoot Jerry to death. Um,
Yeah.
I should back up a little bit. Jerry at some point shows, while all of this is happening, Jerry shows Scully the pictures he took of himself, and he's like, "What does this mean? What does this mean?" And we can't see what's in the pictures. And Scully's like, "It means that you need help, Jerry." And he's like, "No, that just means I'm almost out of time." And he starts
Yeah.
accelerating the whole killing Dana process, and then does that awful job of taping her mouth again. She starts yelling. Mulder guns him down, and then we get another Scully monologue, Doogie Howser style, worrying if she might have become a monster in the process of understanding the
Yes.
monster, which is not
Yeah.
something we've seen at any point of her becoming a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I would was we're talking about like people getting shot and stuff. Wh- is this at least the third episode in a row now that has ended with our wonderful agents gunning somebody down? So they shot some of the cannibals in home. They Scully shot Taliko last episode. Now Mulder's shooting this dude this episode. I can't remember in the season premiere Herrenvoke. I don't remember if someone got shot. Maybe the alien bounty hunter got shot or somebody. A lot of gunfire early in season 4. And all these episodes seem to be ending the same way with just Mulder and Scully just shooting their problems dead. Um, this, yeah, gosh, I'm conflicted about this episode. I feel like there's definitely stuff in this that I thought was cool and entertaining, but then I also am still not enjoying Mulder at all, and that is really impacting my enjoyment of season 4 so far. I think this is the best of the episodes that I've seen this season. Um, but I don't think it really stuck the landing. I was really excited from with the opening, but then I like the killer. I like that guy. I like the
Mhm.
running around on stilts and doing all of that stuff. But I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's all right. It's all right. This episode was all right. I wanted it to be great. I think it was just all right.
Well, I'm tempted to say that old saying I like to break out, that that little white speck on top of the pile of chicken shit. It's still chicken shit. But that's a little harsh about this episode. And maybe it's like, what do they call it, Stockholm syndrome or Munchausen syndrome or whatever, that the episodes have been so bad this season that I'm just grasping onto anything better, that I'm
Mm,
overlooking a lot of the flaws of this episode. But I can say that I liked it. I didn't like how it ended, and I'm with you there. But the killer was good. The spooky, the pictures were really really good.
yeah.
Dana Scully was really good in this episode. Mulder was not, but you know,
Yeah.
if we didn't have him jumping to conclusions, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere in
Yeah.
the episode.
And I think like again, for the if you're a brand new listener to this show, last week I had mentioned we watched all of these 8 episodes like in a row, um, and I think if this would have fallen on its face totally, I would have been dreading watching the next 6 episodes in this block that we did
Oh yeah,
to ourselves. 'Cause I would have been like, "Oh my god!" What I will say about this episode is that it did just enough to make me be like, "Okay, we're not going to get nothing but crap. There could be a light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm kind of back on board." So this episode did what it needed to do for me to keep me engaged and excited to watch continuing episodes. But it's still not great. That's the thing. It's like, where are the? It felt like, what was it? See, episode 2 was like Clyde Bruckman's final repos last season,
hmm
or something. It's like insane. We were getting bangers out the gate. Usually in all 3 seasons before this, we were getting great episodes, and this season so far just feels like, whew, we got 20 more to go. There's got
I
to be
guess.
some. I mean, people were watching this. This is a cultural phenomenon. We love this show during this time. So it has to be good. At some point, it's got to get good this season, is what I'm thinking. But we'll find out. Hit that like and subscribe as we go through. Fun facts about this episode. This was the first X Files episode broadcast on a Sunday after the switch from Friday nights. The inspiration for Unruhe was a Time Life book about serial killers that episode writer Vince Gilligan had read when he was a child. Gilligan, in particular, was struck by the story of Howard Unruhe, who shot and killed 13 people, including 3 children, during a 12-minute walk through his neighborhood on September 6, 1949, in Camden, New Jersey, which I had never heard of this guy before. And I actually have this on my list. I actually want to read about this Howard Unruh guy because, in today's day and age, we always hear about gun violence and, the epidemic that's sweeping the nation with gun violence. But this happened apparently in 1949. Some dude just walking down the street, shooting everybody in his neighborhood that he could find. I want to know more about that. The title of this episode, Unruhe, is the German word for unease or disquiet. When Scully talks in German to Schnauz, she says, I will butcher this, Ich habe keine Unruhe. Literally, quote, I have no unease. The episode prominently features the dog, or the dog Queequeg. No, the drug scopolamine, which can cause people to quickly become unconscious, and twilight sleep, which is a condition that can render people unconscious following great moments of pain. And that's pretty much all of the interesting facts that I was able to find about this episode. I can't say that we're on a, rocket ship trajectory to the moon at this point in season 4, but hey, I think we both agree this was better than what we've been watching. So we'll, we'll see what happens the next Friday. We will be talking about an episode called "The Field Where I Died." So hit that like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. What are you guys thinking about season 4 so far? Are we completely off base? I feel like season 4 is very well regarded, and for some reason we're just not seeing it. Leave a comment down below. You know, are we nuts? Basically, just tell us, are we nuts? Until next Friday, everyone. See you then.